Now let's kind of go into our overall award predictions. Opening day is this week.
We're doing World Series as well.
Yes, of course. But I'm going to start it off with the AL MVP. I do have Ben's predictions here. He can't defend them, and they are ones that he should be defending. I am picking Jose Ramirez of the Guardians to win the AL MVP. I think he's been underrated his whole career.
Plus
And
2,200 odds if anybody wants to buy it.
I think he's somebody that could surprise. He's going to always be in that argument. Ben has Adley Rutschman winning the MVP. Yes. If you thought my Jose
plus 8,500 odds, tell him to go place the bet if he believes it.
If you thought my J-Ram pick was crazy, Ben went Adley.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to go Aaron Judge here. He's a 300 plus hitter who's going to hit over 50 homers and over 120 RBIs. He's going to be playing for a playoff team, a premier team. No Juan Soto, I think easily narratively too. It's an easy award to give the guy who stayed with his team.
70 home runs?
I'm not predicting 70. I mean, I think it could just be 50 plus, but at the end of the day, the top candidates, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, alongside Judge, they just don't hit for the power that he does. So it's going to be very hard for them to compete with him in the AL unless they have a boom pop year.
And on that, I'm going with Bobby Witt Jr.
I mean, he's the favorite right now.
I think he's going to do it because I just think, Judge, them losing Soto, and I just don't think, are they actually going to pitch the Judge?
Willie Calhoun and Jake Bauers hitting behind him, and he still hit 62 home runs.
Yeah.
And he had to go against Ohtani in the MVP race, and Bobby Witt's no Ohtani.
I mean, breaking news, Mookie Betts trending towards playing in the Dodgers home opener Thursday.
Wow.
Well, that's good news.
That's good news for Dylan's fantasy team. And then, side note, I do have a note from Ben about his NL East division. He says, Nats are going to be close this year, but this is the best division in baseball, which I think isn't necessarily true. I think that the NL West and AL East might have better races.
I think I still think the AL East is the best division in baseball because I think even their worst team in the
AL
league
East is pretty strong this
year. Potential playoff team that we don't have a Marlins or Rockies.
Imagine if we did.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, hopefully this year we do.
I feel like you used to with the Orioles.
Not even. I mean, that was only like for a couple of years. The Orioles in the early 2010s were still a playoff team.
Yeah.
Nick Markakis. You had the Blue Jays with, Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion. You had still really good teams. They weren't down for long. The Rays were a World Series team in 2008.
Yeah.
So, even our worst teams still went far. But let's get back to the awards. So, to reiterate, AL MVP, I have J-Ram. Ben's got Adley Rutschman. Dylan's got Judge. John's got Bobby Witt. I think those bottom two, Judge and Witt, I think those are the most likely outcomes.
Yep.
But I think J-Ram should definitely be in that conversation. NL MVP, me and Ben both have Shohei.
Yeah, it's not fun, but if he's going to go back to pitching, I don't know. I don't know how it's not going to be him. If it's not Shohei, I like a sneaky Ellie De La Cruz at 20-1.
Ooh.
A lot of people think the Reds could make the playoffs, and I think in terms of the word valuable, if the Reds make the playoffs and Ohtani's on a super team, potentially there's a world where Ellie, who's going to steal 50 plus bases, could, hit 25, 30 homers and have a pop year.
I totally agree. John?
Ohtani. I mean,
to be clear, life on the line, I'm betting Ohtani. But, but instead of us all just saying Ohtani, I wanted to give some fun analysis.
And I think I'm right there with you, though, with the Ellie. I was one of the ones that picked the Reds. I believe I actually have them winning the division. I do. Yep. So if they are to do that, it's going to be on the back of Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah.
AL Cy Young, I'm going Cole Reagans from the Royals. I think the Royals are going to be a good team, and I think he's going to be that ace that they need.
Who's Ben got?
Ben has Garrett Crochet of the Red Sox.
That's as well who I have. I think Crochet reaches 200 plus strikeouts. I think he's an absolute monster in Boston, and I hate that they traded for him as a Yankees fan.
John?
I have Tariq Skubal winning the game. I think he's just going to put up another dominant year. Because I mean, look at the numbers he put up last season, and it's just like I feel like it's just he's going to do it again. It's just he's going to be hard to beat.
All right, NL Cy Young. I'm going Hunter Green from the Reds. The same argument Dylan had for saying Ellie. I think if the Reds do make the playoffs, win their division, it's going to be behind a phenomenal year by a guy who I've been riding high on 4 years. I remember when he got drafted as a two-way player back in like 2016. I think Hunter Green's finally going to have that breakout healthy year. Ben, very vanilla, says Paul Skeens.
Yeah, so does Dylan. Peppery Vanilla says Paul Skeens. I also just think that some of the market is interesting for NL Cy Young because Skeens is 2-1, Wheeler 6-1. I think those are like fine choices. They're easy choices, obviously. Then you get Snell, Burns, Sale. I have some question marks about the ability to stay healthy for all three. Yamamoto, Japanese pitcher, didn't really last a full 162 last year, had a great playoffs, but wasn't consistently good over 162. I have question marks there. Then you have King, Alcantara, and Cease, all of which I think could be moved from the NL to the AL at the trade deadline. And then Strider coming back from injury, Glass now made of glass. And then we're at someone like Christopher Sanchez at 25-1. So I like Skeens and I like Wheeler as bets. It's boring choices, but I just don't know if anybody else is competing by the end of the year.
Hunter Green is competing.
I don't like the guys in that mid-level range. I like the money on Skeens or Wheeler or shoot for the stars with a Hunter Green, a Christopher Sanchez, a Logan Webb, a Shota Amanga. Like, if you're not picking one of the top two, I'd shoot for the stars.
John, who's your Cy Young?
It'd be boring to go Paul Skeens. I mean, like, how do you not? I mean, it's like
pretty easily. I just wrote down Hunter Green.
I mean, no, I agree. I mean, the guy added a 98-mile-per-hour cutter and was already a top 3 pitcher in the sport. I don't know how you don't pick him.
It's tough, but I think it's, again, just like I didn't pick Judge, I think it's very, very likely or possible, but I do think Hunter Green's going to be in that conversation. And if it isn't going to be Skeens, I think he could be the guy. Now, Rookie of the Year, these are always a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get. You don't know who's going to show up around the All-Star break and blow everybody's minds with their amazing pitching, like a Paul Skeens. I'm going a guy who isn't even starting in the big leagues in April, but I think he will join up May, June, and I think he's going to surprise. That's Augustin Ramirez with the Marlins. He's going to be he's the catcher that the Yankees traded to the Marlins for Jazz Chisholm. He was having an amazing year last year in AA, AAA, and I think he is going to be a very, very solid player for them. And like outside of Roki Sasaki, who Ben has, I really like him to have a shot to win it.
Yeah. Who did Ben take?
Roki Sasaki.
Okay, I'm taking another catcher in the NL. I'm taking Drake Baldwin of the Atlanta Braves. Sean Murphy starting the year hurt. Baldwin's going to get to bat for this team early on. Lefty batter. And it's the Braves. So naturally, of course, somehow they'll have a Rookie of the Year candidate just waiting on their roster right when you think maybe they lack a little bit of depth.
And I'm on the same page with Ben here with Sasaki. I just think he's just like...
Do you guys think he's gonna pitch enough? That's like my one concern with Sasaki is that
right
in a 6-7 man rotation, they're bringing him over from Japan, so not used to the full 162 game season. They'd probably be more likely to rest him if need be. Because when you look at the team's current starting pitching rotation, Sasaki is already a 4-5 guy when you factor in Snell, Yamamoto, Glass now, Sasaki, Ohtani, Dustin May, like Kershaw. Like at the end of the day, Sasaki obviously is around that 4-5, and I think if anybody were to get rest, it would be Otani. But I wouldn't be shocked if at some point in the middle of the season, Otani and Sasaki alternated starts.
I think he's gonna get enough just purely because I feel like it's just like you look at it time and time again, like pitchers always get hurt. There's always injuries.
Yeah,
And I just feel like, that's where he's gonna shine.
that's fair.
So I think that I'm kind of banking on that a bit, but I mean, we'll see. But I mean, when he does pitch, though, he's filthy. It's like I don't know if you saw him pitch at all.
No. I
It
mean,
was
don't get me wrong.
crazy.
I wanted him to be wearing pinstripes in New York, so I certainly understand the want for him. I just don't know if
Yeah.
the need for him to play as much is going to be there for the Dodgers. That's just kind of my worry with any Dodger on any award. I mean, Otani obviously one of one, but anybody else in terms of valuable in production just isn't going to be there, or is it just so spread out but behind this super team? Time will tell.
It's just one of those things. I remember quite a few of us picked Yamamoto last year to win Rookie of the Year. I was trying to go back and kind of look at what our
I don't think anybody had Skeens.
I think
nobody
I
had
had
Skeens.
Evan Langford and Churio.
I'm gonna pull up last year's and I'll kind of go over that. But I think I was having flashbacks of Yamamoto last year, and that's why I went with somebody who wasn't Sasaki. But then you go to the AL Rookie of the Year, and I am going a little plain and picking Jason Dominguez. Third time's the charm. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be the guy.
Has to produce. Is that who Ben went as well?
No, Ben went Jackson Jobe from Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to go off the wall here. I'm going to go Yankees back-to-back pitcher Rookie of the Years, Will Warren. I think the opportunity now is clear as day for Warren with Cole, Tommy John, Schmidt missing the start of the year. He'll out until probably around June, July. Listen, Will Warren is fourth in this rotation at this point, so he's not even the first man out. If they, move to a Yarbrough over Cookie Carrasco, like Warren is pretty firmly in this rotation at this point in time. And even when Schmidt returns, I think Warren's going to have a really long leash here. And it's not a guy that I believed in from what I saw last year, but it seems this offseason he's really worked on his game. The movement is there on pitches. He's getting Michael King as comparisons, and we saw how well he panned out. And in a Rookie of the Year race in the AL that doesn't have a name that jumps off the page to me, give me a guy in Warren who's going to have a lot of opportunity.
It's just such a stark change from where you were last year on him.
It is. And listen, at the end of the day, one thing that I'll say about the Yankees is sometimes they infuriate me, but pitching is something that they seem under Matt Blake to figure out and work their way through. And when they project that they believe in somebody, usually that has been right. And they weren't saying that we weren't hearing any of this last year about Will Warren. None of this hype was there. Now that the hype is there, is that projecting what they need? Maybe, but again, at the end of the day, I'm willing to take the 12-1 odds on Warren.
Who's your AL Rookie of the Year, John?
I do like Ben's pick, Jackson Jobe. I think he's really good, but I have Jason Dominguez too. I think this is the year,
This is the year?
This is the year. I mean,
It's got to produce. And even if he can't play left field, he'll probably be DHing.
So,
all right, Manager of the Year. I'm going Tito, Terry Francona of the Reds. I'm riding high on my Reds picks. Ben's got Carlos Mendoza, Mets manager. Definitely no bias there.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rob Thompson of the Philadelphia Phillies. I think they could crack 100 wins, and I think it's way more impressive if he does it than the Dodgers.
Crazy, yeah. I like the Reds with Corbin going Terry Francona too.
Yeah.
I do like the Reds. I do like the Reds.
So. All right. What about AL? I'm going Matt Quatraro, the Kansas City Royals manager.
And Ben Scott.
Ben's got AJ Hinch of Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know if the MLB will actually do it after some of the cheating scandal, but I'm going Alex Cora. I think Boston wins the AL East, and I think that they are a mid-90s win team.
See, I have Alex Cora too.
Yeah, my one
Yeah,
concern with that prediction is just that, like, if there's any other option in the AL is like as part of a de facto punishment still just to not give him awards.
Yeah. All right. AL home run leader. I'm going Yordan Alvarez with 42.
Did Ben
And
answer these or no?
Ben did. Ben's going Judge at 59.
Yeah, I'll take Judge at 56.
I have Judge at 51.
I wish I had the confidence to take Judge.
I mean, listen, I know you're not like super confident in the Yankees, but I think there's a difference between not being confident in the Yankees to produce and not being confident in Aaron Judge to produce.
I just think that if the Yankees don't produce, it's going to be because Judge gets hurt.
It's possible.
NL home run leader. I'm going Matt Olson at 37. Ben went Pete Alonso at 55.
I'm going Schwarber at 41.
I got Ohtani 45.
And then World Series predictions. I have the Dodgers over the Royals in 5 games. Ben has the Mets over the Orioles in 5 games.
This guy, he is drinking the Grimace Gatorade.
Grimace shake.
I have the Dodgers over the Boston Red Sox in 6 games.
Like, do we just copy each other, Dylan? Like, I swear, because I have the Dodgers Red Sox.
In 6 as well.
No, like the full series, but we're pretty close.
Listen,
That's really funny.
as much as I wanted it to be, I want it to be my Yankees. I don't fully believe in it. Everything in me wanted to say Phillies over Red Sox in 7. We were sitting here talking about Mookie, and I did one more look over at the Dodgers just to see kind of how the lineup would construct without him, and then I was reminded of exactly who's on the roster, and it's one of those picks where I'll be damn happy to be wrong if they don't win it, but I can't be the fool that picks the Mets over the Orioles.
I mean, all 3 of us did pick the Dodgers to win.
I'm kind of hoping.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
how do you at
Phillies end
this
up
point?
winning.
How do you not? But
it feels like unlike anything I've ever seen. This feels very reminiscent of, for anybody that's an NBA fan, the Warriors when they had Kevin Durant. It was just, how did you go into it? Like, if you went into an NBA season picking someone else, you were lying to yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
And just to quickly go over who we had last year, just for fun. I picked Kyle Tucker to win the MVP last year.
In the AL.
Dylan and Ben both went Judge. John went Soto.
Judge
good
panned
job.
out.
NL MVP, I picked Mookie Betts. Dylan picked. Do you remember who you picked, Dylan?
Yeah.
Pete Alonso. John, you picked Acuna.
He got hurt.
And Ben picked Ohtani. This might be the worst guesses any of us ever had. AL Cy Young. Dylan, you picked Pablo Lopez.
To be fair, the AL Cy Young last year at this point was such a crapshoot.
Ben picked Carlos Rodon. John, you picked Corbin Burns. And me, with the worst pick out of them all, picked Ryan Pepiot.
He started off good, though.
And I believe he's going to be the Rays opening day starter this year.
You want to switch your AL pick to Pepiot?
Run it
Maybe
back
I was
to back
a year
years.
too early. NL Cy Young, I picked Hunter Green last year.
Oh, back to back.
Back to back, I believe. Dylan picked Zach Wheeler. Ben Zach Gallen, and John Zach Wheeler.
I was really pulling for Wheeler.
AL Rookie of the Year, I picked Wyatt Langford, Dylan Evan Carter, Ben Colt Keith, and John Evan Carter. NL Rookie of the Year, I picked Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Dylan, do you remember who you picked?
Not Paul Skeens.
The grandson of the Wind, Jung Ho Lee. Ben picked Michael Bush, and John, with the closest guess out of us all, picked Jackson Churio.
That was close. It's close.
AL Manager of the Year, I picked Joe Espada, Dylan Rocco Baldelli, Ben Aaron Boone, John AJ Hinch. NL Manager of the Year, I picked Craig Counsell, Dylan picked Craig Counsell, John picked Craig Counsell, and Ben picked Dave Roberts. AL and NL home run leaders, I had Yordan Alvarez, again, hitting 45 home runs, and I also picked Fernando Tatis to hit 42. Dylan had Judge with 49 home runs, so you sold our boy a little short.
That's why this year I bumped it to 56.
And you had Alonso at 55.
Yep.
Ben had Judge with 48 and Alonso at 57. And John had Judge with 48 and Alonso at 51. So this isn't the first year you guys had your little weird brains together, picking the same ones.
Yeah, I think it's called chalk.
Yeah. And then World Series, I had the Astros over the Phillies in 5. Dylan Braves over the Astros in 5. Ben the Yankees over the Dodgers in 6.
I mean, Ben was matchup.
Spot on. If
And if he follows the
Gil
Nestor
comes in-
Cortez chain of events of how the games played out, he also has the correct outcome.
And then John has the Phillies over the Orioles in 6.
Yep. Well, we all went Dodgers this year, and we were all wrong last year. So let's hope
So I'm
that trend continues.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong. Like I'm hoping I just jinxed the Phillies last year by picking them. And this year,
Yeah.
I'm going to get the
Yankees over
Phillies
Braves?
Orioles.
Yankees over Braves in 4, right?
Yep. That's what I heard.
But that's going to do it.
Great fun.
Yeah, yes, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back talking about opening day back next week, talking about how that first, series of the year went. Have some studs and duds and
Pods dropping every Wednesday.
That's right. So we'll be back at it. Season starting. It's going to be a long road ahead just for the Dodgers to win it all, like we said right now.
Yeah,
Might as
just
well
like
not
those
even
NBA seasons after Kevin Durant joined the Warriors. We all know the ending, but we'll all enjoy the ride. And by
It's all
the
about
All-Star
the
break,
journey.
we'll lie to ourselves and tell us somebody else is going to win it.
It's all about the journey.